Today, I'm watching the Twilight Zone, Season 3, Episode 7. The previous episode was about this revolution. This new tyrant had come into power and ended up just being exactly like the previous tyrant. And there was this mirror that was showing all of his assassins, whether it was in his mind, whether it was really going to happen. Yeah, it wasn't my favorite episode, but still, I think an interesting concept and some big ideas, and obviously a very political episode. This episode, I have no idea. They're not doing the previews anymore, so very curious to see where we're gonna go. So thank you so much for sharing in this first time watching with me. If you want to see exclusive content from this episode, be sure to join Patreon. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, and check back often for more awesome content. Are we going back to the 1800s? We've had a few of those episodes so far. Gunfight at high noon. It's definitely reminded me of a Western.
You're covered on all sides! Raise your hand!
Uh-oh. Oh!
Still alive. Let's get him into the old jail.
Is he a prisoner? Yeah, is he like convicted of something? Was trying to run away?
You ain't got more than a few minutes left to live, Johnny Rob. You go fetch his pa and sister. All right,
oh my gosh. It's reminding me a little bit of like the Hangman episode so far. It might have even been a similar set. And there he is!
Of legend and folktale have been known to continue having their way even after death.
Okay, very interesting. That's such a cool shot. I love the elements that black and white gives you to play with, like just him coming in from this corner with the fog, and we still have like this very windy, soundscape in the background. It does not feel like a welcoming place. It feels very hostile and like every man for himself.
We did.
Who is we, Mother Shen?
Us. The whole town.
That doesn't really answer his question.
Myself.
Only 8 of us actually fired, but the whole town was behind it.
With 8 people? That seems like overkill.
Admit the whole town ain't much of a marksman. Out of 8 shots fired, only one of them hit him.
I was gonna say, he definitely didn't have 8 bullet wounds, like...
No one's bragging that they was the one that did it. No, sir, no one's taking credit for that little piece of gunplay.
Yeah, that's interesting. They don't know whose bullet was the fatal
Something,
one.
Mr. Mothershed? Maybe by now Pinto knows who it was that killed him.
They definitely all shot at once, like it was very frantic, so...
Yeah.
That ain't the way Pinto tells it.
And I like the way they're incorporating the music from the character into the scene.
Oh, in 3 states, but how he treats his town like it was his personal property just 'cause he's born and raised here.
What is he wanted for?
And we tell how we hired you, Connie Miller, to track him down.
Okay, so he's a hitman, I'm guessing?
Results.
This guy just dramatically strumming in the corner.
Told his pa how sorry he was that he hadn't turned out better.
I'm still curious, what did he do?
He got real riled when he mentioned you.
Da-da-da-da.
The slower you chased him. He said he waited for you in Albuquerque.
So he could have caught him and he chose not to?
Was.
What?
He
What?
said you ought to be able to catch him now.
He's like, I'm dead, yeah.
Close to his grave. He reach up and grab you.
Oh my god, why does he not want... Yeah, I'm very curious with his animosity. I mean, obviously he's chasing him, but...
He wasn't even in that town long enough to rent himself a room for the night.
Yeah, that's interesting to think if he could have been caught, but he just, like, wouldn't catch him.
He's a fine man. Now the folks here in town, they don't hold it against him that he's Pinto's paw.
These two got something going on.
Pa, Mr. Broadley. It's for me.
She's like, I'm taking the whole bottle. See you later.
You know, my brother and I were just talking about you. Just the day before yesterday.
I was gonna say, when did that happen?
Told him, I own.
Even about how Pinto's gonna reach up and grab him.
Ooh, so spooky.
You ought to feel lucky tonight. You know right where he is.
Yeah, you don't have to chase him anymore.
All you gotta do is walk out there.
That's interesting how she's like taunting him, being like, are you brave enough to go to see if this is true? Yeah, like he's finally caught, you know, you could go see where he is. And she doesn't seem upset for someone who just buried her brother like 2 days ago.
Are you afraid of Pinto's grave? The rest of us are. Now, how about you? Are you afraid?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't tempt fate, but this guy's gonna try and be a tough guy, I'm sure.
I sure ain't afraid of him now that he's dead.
And I don't believe that.
Oh my god, he's like, how dare you question me?
And whether you were afraid of Pinto alive, only you know that.
Yeah, I don't think he's exactly gonna admit it, even if he was.
Why don't you shut up before you really get hurt?
I think a little bit of his ego is hurt that he wasn't able to catch him and now he's gone.
And visit Pinto's grave. Now, I got a $20 gold piece.
Oh my, high stakes. I mean, yeah, like, is he skeptical? Is he gonna think, like, there's no way he could come back to life? He's dead, obviously. This is ridiculous. Or is he like, I don't want to test it?
Well, I guess in a little while that one of us will have $40 instead of 20.
That's right.
Yeah, that's how math works. Yep.
All your money, whose side would you be on?
I reckon I'd bet again you, Connie.
Everybody's betting against him. Yeah, nobody thinks he would do
Oh,
it.
you're gone real fast, Connie. We seen you. But out in that graveyard, that gun ain't gonna be worth a copper cent.
No, you can't shoot him. They're already dead.
Since this is a job you're gonna have to do by yourself, how are we gonna be sure that you've done it?
What do you mean?
If he comes back, if he doesn't.
I have another way. Give me your Bowie knife, Ira.
Yeah, how could he prove that he's been there without somebody else going with him?
Ain't nobody gonna go up there and steal that knife once you've planted it.
Yeah, they're all terrified. I mean, I would be too. And I don't think they understand why he's not a little bit afraid. Other than maybe he's just like, this is ridiculous and just, you know, his ego. But I'm worried we're gonna see, like, the ending of Carrie. You know, I know this came out much earlier, but still. Has she been drinking in the graveyard this whole time? And that's so interesting. We can't see her face. I'm guessing it's Pinto's sister that we saw earlier. It's the same outfit, but just kind of, you know, can't see her face, all in shadow. Obviously still with her bottle.
Here. Maybe a good bell to red eye will make it all easier.
Oh my god, that bottle's almost gone. How is she standing? Cheese and rice.
I just came from there. He's waiting for you.
And it sounds like she's almost like talking to him. Yeah, and she's like, have fun, enjoy the trap. Like laughing and yeah. Why is she like the creepiest part of this so far? I don't know. Ugh, she just gives me chills. Oh god. What is that? It's like a door. That's what it sounds like. The wind is like opening a door or something. I would be so nervous. Like, I would just try and get this done as quickly as possible and then run away. I mean, I wouldn't step foot in there in the first place because I'd be way too scared. But yeah, it's a door. We've had a few, like, ghost-themed episodes, but the concept of being afraid of a zombie or a ghost, you know, as the whole premise of the episode, just to prove that he's not afraid, basically, that something's gonna, you know, reach out and grab him. The blade is clean, though? Wouldn't there be something? I don't know. Oh, God. What? What happened? What? Did it grab him? Oh my god, he just kind of fell.
I don't understand it. It's morning. He ain't back yet.
It got him. Oh my god, it got him.
Not likely his horse and gear are still here.
I just can't help feeling somehow I got a man killed.
I mean...
With clear heads. Deep down, we all know that the dead can't really hurt nobody.
But they're not gonna go check. Even if he, like, just fell and, like, hurt himself and couldn't make it back to town. No one's going to that graveyard to check. And this lady's just happy as can be. Taking a plate?
I'm going to put it on his grave.
I'll go with you. I gotta see what happened out there.
I'm worried. I'm very worried. Yeah, something doesn't seem right.
We can't spend the rest of our days being afraid of a dead man. I'll come with you.
He did specifically say he would take down Connie, but I mean,
I knowed it.
I know that I got a man killed.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Cheese and rice.
What do you mean?
What happened? Whole story's right there. Look at it.
Did he reach up and grab him, or did he just fall over? Like, what's...
Being dark, he didn't notice he put his knife through his own coattail, pinioning it to the grave.
And then when he tried to stand up... Oh, gosh.
As he did so, perhaps he was halfway up, he felt a sudden tug.
Oh, no. That's so cool, but terrifying.
He was already scared half to death, and that finished him.
Cheese and rice. Yeah, oh my gosh. The fear is what killed him after all. Could you... Yeah, we just saw him, like, drop out of frame.
His death was an accident. That he stuck the knife in his own coattail.
Yes, ma'am.
She's up to something. I don't know what's going on.
What direction was the wind from last night?
She obviously thinks it's her brother, yeah.
Same as now. Look at my...
So would have been blowing it the other direction, exactly.
I'm standing in the same spot. The grave.
Oh my god, that laugh is so creepy, terrifying. Oh my gosh. He got him. He got him. So it was my first time watching the Twilight Zone, season 3, episode 7. I liked this episode. It was spooky and weird and creepy, and, you know, just this story of this guy potentially being able to rise from the grave and attack this guy who was chasing him. And I thought maybe we'd see like an actual hand coming out of the grave, similar to, you know, Carrie. Thought maybe that's what we were gonna do, but not at all. And we definitely seem to be getting more ghost themed episodes in season 3, which I am excited about. You know, that kind of supernatural element. We never find out what Pinto did. It's obviously established he's some kind of outlaw. They're looking for him. They're chasing him down. And it sounded like he almost wanted to get caught. His version anyway. Connie says that isn't true. But, you know, as he's laying there dying, you know, we find out through other people telling us that as they're retelling the story, you know, just before he's about to pass away, Pinto is saying, like, I was going slower and he was going slower. Like, he had chances to catch me. He knew where I was and he chose not to catch me, which was interesting because it almost made me think that maybe Pinto and Connie had a past, and they do say that they're both from this town, like they were both born there, so maybe they were the same age, maybe they grew up together, maybe they were schoolmates or something like that. I don't know, but it definitely felt like there was an undertone of, I don't want to catch you because if I catch you, then you're probably going to have to kill you, and I don't want to kill you, and as long as I say I'm looking for you, you know, the townspeople will be off my back, and, you know, they've sent me out there to find you, and as long as I say that I am, you know, it could make it take months, and I think it was like 4 months of trying to track him down, and, you know, obviously wasn't successful, and the townspeople ended up doing it themselves and killing him, you know, themselves, but yeah, I definitely felt like Connie and Pinto had some kind of underlying relationship, whether, again, it was friends, whether they were enemies. Obviously towards the end there was a lot of animosity as Pinto's ghost comes back from the grave and, you know, kills Connie, and even the way that Connie and Ione were looking at each other, I was like, clearly you guys know each other, and again, they're from the same town. I don't know if they were trying to allude to something maybe romantic happened between the two of them, or if it was just, I've known this person for 20, 30 years, whatever it's been, because they're both from the same town, and again, maybe grew up together, especially if she was Pinto's brother, maybe they hung out, I don't know, but yeah, just that underlying sense of familiarity, I think, played a part in this, and maybe more in his hesitation, and yeah, when he finally comes back and finds out that Pinto is dead, Connie doesn't mention going to visit the grave, being like, oh, let me go, you know, now that I know where he is, I can go see him. He doesn't seem interested in that at all. It's only when people tell him the story of like, well, you know, just before he was about to die, he told us that if you do this, like, you stay away from my ghost, and if you come near me, I'm gonna, you know, attack you from beyond the grave. And then we get, you know, a similar theme we've seen before in Twilight Zone episodes where ego is on the line and their reputation is on the line, and how dare you call me a coward, like, I'll show you, and, you know, I need to prove how tough I am, and, you know, I've got my gun, but obviously that's not going to do anything in the graveyard, but it's that I need to maintain my reputation. I need to, you know, have this high standing and what people think of me. I mean, the townspeople are scared out of their minds. They're like, we were the ones who took 8 of us to try and kill him, and only 1 bullet made it, and we're not going anywhere near it. But, you know, you're this big tough guy, you go, and, you know, prove the theory right or wrong, basically. And obviously we see, you know, they put money on this bet and this wager, but yeah, it was just, again, it never ends well. We've seen that in previous episodes, you know. the silence episode, a few other gambling episodes where people think like, oh, I can risk everything, like I'll show you, and how dare you say negative things about me, like I'll, prove my point and prove how tough I am. And of course, yeah, it always backfires. I like that we had the weather as a character in this as well, with the wind, like that opening scene, the soundscape, immediately you can hear it, you can almost feel this like chilling, if you want to, chilling to the bones, if you will, this wind, whipping through the town. And of course it's out in the middle of nowhere, it's very desolate, this little town, but you still feel that sense of isolation. And of course the wind ends up being the murderer, perhaps. Was it the wind? Was it Pinto? Depends on what you want to believe, but the wind, being that smoking gun with, oh, it's blowing this direction. Well, it couldn't be, Ion's saying, oh, look where I'm standing. Like, it's blowing the opposite direction. There's no way, his jacket would have naturally landed over the grave. It would have been blown the other direction. So how did it get there? And yeah, it was very interesting to see that piece. And we've had weather, or very intense, extreme climates in previous Twilight Zone episodes as well, with really cold winters or heat and deserts and that kind of situation. So yeah, it's interesting to have wind, and maybe playing a little bit into like a horror movie trope of like, oh, it's just the wind, it's just the wind. And then in this, we see, it actually does play a pretty big part in the story, because, that's the logical way of explaining it. And then it also being the logical way of explaining why it's not the cause of his death, and that it was fear after all that killed him. Like, he's trying to be so tough. He's trying to be so brave, and, has a heart attack because he's so afraid that this thing did grab him, or he did put his knife in his coat by accident. And as soon as he stood up, I thought maybe when he stood up, he was going to choke him and he was going to die that way. But his heart giving out just at the fear, at the motion that it could even possibly be something, even if it was a logical explanation, like he did accidentally put his knife in his jacket. Similar to when we have the door making that sound, it just kind of puts you on edge. You're immediately like, your senses are heightened, and you're more easily likely to get scared because you're in that heightened sense of state, looking over your shoulder, questioning every movement. When we find out that it took the townspeople 8 bullets or 8 shots to try and kill Pinto, I thought maybe we were going to have Pinto go after the townspeople, because the one bullet obviously killed him. And I was like, okay, maybe Pinto's ghost knows who the townsperson is and is going to try and search for that person and get, revenge that way. But he doesn't even try and go after the person who kills him, which again makes me believe that he almost wanted to get caught and, wanted to die maybe in some weird way. I don't know. But yeah, he's not like blaming the townspeople, and they're there. Like, he has half an hour before he officially passes away, and he's not spending that half an hour screaming out to the townspeople saying like, how dare you do this to me. He's spending it talking to his family and saying like, Connie's the one I'm gonna curse. He's been chasing me for 4 months. If he comes near my grave, it's game over basically. So yeah, I thought that was an interesting take on a ghost story. And again, I thought maybe we would see his actual hand come through the grave or something like that. I thought would be cool. But I like the knife explanation, because yeah, you could either go either way with it. When they're first explaining, you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But then of course when his sister Ione shows up, who just seems like the craziest, spookiest character, and I just love, she was just at her own different level in this episode, and bringing her brother a plate. And it almost felt like the way her and her brother were interacting was that he was still alive. Like, she's happy, she's laughing, she's got this like very creepy, almost like Disney villain, laugh. She's in on some secret that nobody else knows. And her explanation of the wind at the end does make it seem like her brother, did come from the grave and, kill Connie. Great performances as always. The actor who played Connie, I feel like he was just meant to play cowboys. I don't know what else he's been in, but I just feel like he's got that persona where you'd believe him. So let me know in the comments if he's done other westerns. He just kind of has that persona in my mind. I was completely convinced, he was this hitman, in these 1800s. We don't get a year exactly, but that's what I'm gonna guess, based on everything else. And I liked that character Johnny as well, who was playing the guitar, because that's, the majority of the music we have in the saloon is him, maybe a little cheesy, but also playing his guitar anytime there's kind of a dramatic moment. He does that like, chord strum And then it's, one of the characters quickly turns their head, in a moment of intensity. And I like that we had the character in the scene playing the music for the scene as well. Overall, I really liked this episode, this ghost story from beyond the grave, this outlaw, and this cat and mouse game that Connie and Pinto are playing. And then, they both end up dead. So who really wins? I mean, Pinto dies first, but Connie, obviously, whether it was Pinto that attacks from the grave or he literally just put the knife in his own coat, scared himself to death. Either way, Pinto got what he wanted and basically said, don't come near my grave. So yeah, an interesting approach. I really liked it. And again, this is our third or fourth ghost themed episode we've had in season 3. So I don't know if that's going to be a continuing theme, but I like ghost stories. I like supernatural elements. So hoping we get some more ghost stories. Each one obviously has had a unique approach. Yeah, I really liked this version. So thank you so much for sharing in this first time watching with me. If you have any other suggestions for movies or TV shows you think I should watch, please comment below. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, and check back often for more awesome content. Is he a prisoner? Yeah, is he convicted of something, was trying to run away? I was gonna say, he definitely didn't have 8 bullet wounds. She's like, I'm taking the whole bottle, see you later. No, you can't shoot him, they're already dead. Yeah, how could he prove that he's been there without somebody else going with him? Just to prove that he's not afraid, basically, that something's gonna, reach out and grab him.